Oh, good, Gage, you're back. You just got the stitches out. Hi, Lasati. Hey, Lasati, did you check with my friend? I sent you her information. She teaches tarot, and she's also a witch. So she has a lot of stuff she can teach you. I don't know if you reached out to her or not yet, but I don't know why I whispered that. I think I was just being funny. But hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some cards. I was just drawing a comic. Besides being your friendly neighborhood shaman, also your friendly neighborhood cartoonist. Okay, Gage, let me get my. I need to grab a. There we go. Oh no, I don't want that one. Take on me, take on me, take me on, take on me. All right. I'll be gone in a day or two. What did I do with my other pens? No hurries, Lasati. But I talked to her, and she doesn't do like big classes or anything, but she does one-on-one mentoring for that kind of thing. So there's no need to be sorry, but whenever you're ready, she will. I think it'll be a good. It feels like a good connection. So I hope it works out for both of you. Okay, that piece of paper isn't going to work. Talking away. I don't know what I'm to say. I'll say it anyway. Da 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 ba ba. Take on me. Take on me. All right. All right. All right. All right, Gage, you are first in line. So, welcome everybody. As I said, I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. And we are going to do some readings with the beautiful medicine card deck with all the different animals on them. I hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, I used to have that deck. I have no idea how to use it. So, ta-da! Maybe you get some pointers tonight. So, the way this works, if you're new here, the first 5 people to say yes in the comments get a 1-card reading. And if you are not one of those 5, or if you are watching the replay of this, then my phone is acting weird and not wanting to stay plugged in. I've got it charging, but the cord. Do you guys ever get that where like my phone is so old that the charger doesn't actually stay connected, like it keeps falling out? There we go. Anyway, so the first 5 people to say yes get a 1-card reading. If you are not one of the first 5 or you're watching this on replay, all you need to do is choose a number between 1 and 5 and then listen for that card. And I promise, even though it may be aimed at someone else, sing so below. I'm not sure what that means, Gage. Even though that card might be aimed at someone else, I promise that there will be a message in there somehow, somewhere for you as well. And then at the end, after we've done the 5 individual readings, I take those 5 cards and I do a full spread, the medicine wheel spread. My old song. What old song? I have so many songs. I love to sing. I'm not sure. Oh, So Below, my song. Oh, wow, I'm getting requests now. Um, gosh, how did that song go? It's not me who has to do this, but the spirit of my soul. All I need is to remember to surrender to the wisdom of the whole. Everything is taken care of, and all pieces are in place. And no matter how miraculous, there always is a way. So it is so, as above, so below. Hi, Anna. So that was the first verse. That's a song I wrote called So Below. It's someplace on my YouTube channel. I recorded it at one point on my YouTube channel. So thanks for the request, Gage. I love that song. That's one of the songs I'll sing whenever I. Hi, Brittany. Whenever I'm kind of like, oh my God, what's going on, right? Like overwhelmed, I'll sing that song to myself and it helps. So, okay, so after the first 5 cards, then I take those 5 cards and I do a full spread, what's called the medicine wheel spread. It's basically the 4 directions. And, oh, hi, Finley. You're on your mom's account. Welcome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So if you were to come to me for a one-on-one reading, that is the card spread I would do. And so we take all the individual messages from the individual cards, put them together, and then do a 5-card reading for the community at large. So that's how we do it. And we've got 2 people already who said yes. So if there's anyone else that wants a 1-card reading, all you need to do is say yes. And I guess we'll go ahead and start. At first, Finley, when my glasses aren't quite focused right, and when I saw your name, Finley, I thought it said Firefly. All right. So, our first card is for Gage. And these videos are a little slow sometimes during the summertime, so we might only get 2 cards. We might do 3 or 4 cards. And it's all good. So we get it done a little early. And I get to go to the river and do pipe ceremony and stuff. Well, it's still light out, actually. All right, card number 1 for Gage. All right, so Gage, card number 1, we got Fox. And I guess that's not gleaming. Fox is kind of the ninja of the animal kingdom. So you're a ninja. No, actually you kind of are. You know, for those that don't know, Gage is been helping to fight the fires, the wildfires, and deal with those. So that could be your name, Foxfire. Anyway, I don't know where that came from, but Fox. It's funny because you know Fox is orange like fire. One of your, oh yeah, I remember from last week, Panther was really speaking to you. So that, I would be willing to bet that is one of your totems, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if fox was another one, because fox medicine, well, like, okay, so every culture that has fox in its mythology, um, like all over the world, has assigned fox magic. Fox is the magician, the illusionist, um, and foxfire. There's actually, I don't know what plant it is, but it's one of those bioluminescent ones, like, um, if you nick, like, I remember when we were camping when I was little, I used to be in the Boy Scouts, and um, there was this root and someone kind of nicked it, and um, it it got dark, and then there was this glow from that root, like this kind of blue green, and that it was foxfire. And that's when you hear that word foxfire, that's what it is, because it's kind of this illusion, like you see something glowing in the middle of the woods, kind of like a will o' the wisp or something like that, and you investigate and you can't find it or whatever. It's this, that, and that's what fox is about. Um, Observing without being seen, and laying false tracks. That's why fox hunts have been so popular for so long, because they are so difficult to find, so difficult to capture, because they can disappear while you're looking at them, right? Like a ninja. And they can lay false trails. They can backtrack. They can make you think they're one place when they're someplace else. And so it's all about that illusion, right? And just like the foxfire, it's like this magic. There's this glow in the woods, and you can't tell where it's coming from. And so it's like this illusion, this, like, there's something there, but there isn't there. And the strength, so as what I have discovered in doing these readings for so many years, is that people with fox medicine are the ones that well, not everyone, I shouldn't like generalize, but a lot of people with fox medicine are the ones that would kind of blend, blend into the wallpaper, wallflowers, right? Or like the teacher would be asking a question and they would kind of shrink and kind of put on their cloak of invisibility so that the teacher would call on somebody else, right? It's like people actually, that's a skill. And like one of my teachers, Christina Bloom, she used to live out here, and she was doing some work at a police station, and she was there late, so she would go up and stay in her van, because she was up there so late. And she always put like an invisibility cloak around her van, hoping that no one would see it, no one would bug her, no one would question her. And she didn't really realize how well it was working until she woke up one morning when a woman walked smack dab boom right into the side of her van. So cloaks of invisibility are real, and people who can use them, because it's like they'll be there one moment and then all of a sudden they're gone, and then you find out that they were always there, right? So it's that ability to disappear, and at first, usually, like when young, those skills are done out of fear and protection, right? They serve the person by allowing them to escape attention, right? To learn from the shadows, to learn from the wall, being the wallpaper, and seeing what's going on. But once they, develop into adulthood, those same skills can be flipped around to actually be productive to help people. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that using them in that way in your youth is wrong or anything. It's actually how you build those skills, right? It's like it's a necessity. It protects you. It serves you at that time in that way. And then once you develop into adulthood, um, it's good to be able to flip them into being able to help others. And how that works, a lot of times, like Fox is related to Wolf, right? And Wolf is the teacher. And so Fox is a trickster, right? Disappearing, shapeshifter. Fox is a shapeshifter. He might make you think he's something else other than a fox. But when you start to, instead of hiding away from the world, utilize, like realizing the illusionary makeup or foundation of the universe, you can start to use it in different ways. Rather than hiding from the world, you can use it to benefit the world. Like, Fox also tends to be, like in my mind anyway, in my mind I see Fox as a storyteller. In fact, I teach this class sometimes that about personal mythology, and we'll do a shamanic journey to meet our own personal bard, our spirit guide, who is the bard who keeps track of the stories of our lives, etc., and mine turned out to be a fox, which seemed so appropriate. And the thing is, so the fox can spin these yarns and spin these tales and present these visions that are so real that you can't help but believe in them, and then disappear, then become invisible, not to hide, but hi Tiggs. I don't know if that's how you say that. Welcome. But so the fox presents this thing, this vision, this reality, and then disappears, so that that person is kind of like, hey, what's that? And then disappears. So it's that whole, Bruce Lee thing about don't mistake the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself, right? Fox doesn't want the credit. He wants to teach people, and so he shows it, presents this image, this story, this reality, and then he disappears, so that that person has to take credit, has to absorb it without attaching any of the glory to him. So, in other words, Fox is really good at leading people to their own truths. Rather than telling them what to think, kind of leading them along the way, leading them up to find their own truths, asking questions, saying, well, what if this were happened? What if there was this world where everyone loved everyone else and blah, 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 whatever it is, right? So specifically for you, Gage, I'm getting that need to make sure you can distinguish between the truth of who you are and the illusion. Does that make sense? Like in order to utilize the illusion, in order to have, I don't want to say control or mastership over, but I'm not sure what other word to use, but to be able to utilize the illusion, I tell you what, I don't know how to say whatever that, be whom a kadwa, Boom Mikado Wavadi Vidi. Tell you what, I'm going to put you down. You'll be the third card. We're on the first card, and I will read a card for you, and we'll see if it answers your question. If it doesn't, then you can ask me your question then, okay? So I'm going to put you down. Can I just call you Boom? I'm not sure what else to do. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm always so self-conscious about pronouncing people's names wrong, or because names are so important. But I will put you will be the second card from now, okay? So Gage, it's like, in order to be able to direct the, hi Kim, yes, we have space. You are on the list. In order to be able to direct the illusion, you have to know yourself as distinguished as the director. Oh God. One of the words, blah, 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 blah. Words are so hard right now for some reason. You can't think yourself part of the illusion and still have directorship over the illusion. You have to, like, centered in yourself, to know yourself as, instead of being like, and this is a big thing, like when you're growing in your spiritual growth, at some point you stop reacting to the world, being something that just has things coming in at it and reacting to those, and you start to transmit. You start to express that the light and that being that you are begins to ripple outward rather than just reacting to the ripples coming inward. Does that make sense? And so you're at that place of realizing that you're not just in the throes of this chaos of this world that makes no sense. You are a transmitter. You are a radio station broadcasting a certain frequency that affects the rest. Rays, like, yeah, emitting rays of light and frequency that affects the rest of the world, so that you are the center, right? Kind of like the old New Age thing about creating your own reality, right? Or like the law of attraction. It's like you are the center, and you decide what it is you want to create, what it is you want to experience, what is acceptable to you, what world do you want to live in. And that's the brilliance of that what Gandhi said about be the change you want to see in the world. Hi, nobody. Welcome. I love you too. I hope you're doing good. Because we are like what Dr. Wayne Dyer says, we are spirits having a human experience, not humans having a spiritual experience. You are first and foremost spirit. In your essence, you are spirit. In your essence, you are divine. You are part of the creative energy. You are not just some random result of creation. You are part of the creative principle. Even in the Bible where it says, man was created in the image of God. God doesn't have an image. God is creator, right? And so to be like God, you are a creator. You're not meant to just take all the hits of the world and just random, reactions to the slings and arrows. You are meant to transmit the change that you want to see in the world. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense, Gage. But there's also that impish, right? Look at the there's an impishness in it, that trickster spirit. Like, I'm gonna make you wake up whether you like it or not. The other thing too, okay, and you were talking about panther. Look at the eyes of fox. Fox is a canine, yet he has eyes of a cat. Hi, Greg. Welcome, everybody. So I hope that is helpful, Gage. It's like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you can find a way to enjoy it. Because you know that everything is an illusion. Nothing can totally take you out of existence. Even if you die, you are still alive. You are still in the universe somewhere, because your soul is eternal. You cannot be destroyed. You cannot be, you are indomitable. You are eternal. The body might die or change or whatever, but that has no effect on who you really are. And when you realize the truth of your being, of who you really are, that's when the universe starts to array and respond to you rather than you reacting to what's happening around you. So I hope that helps. All right, card number 2. I still have room for one more if anybody wants a one card reading. All you need to do is say yes in the comments. Okay. Anna, card number 2. You have to be quick. Nobody. I'm so sorry to hear that. Your mom died. Please be fast. If you can wait till the next, I can jump you up in the line if you want. I just pulled the card for the next person, so I can pull your card next, okay? And I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you're okay. All right, card number 2 for Anna. We got armadillo in reverse. Armadillo, like the big thing about armadillo, of course, you have to go in 4 minutes. Anna, I'm going to put a hold on you. I will come back to you if you don't mind. Nobody, I will pull you a card right now. Okay, nobody. You got skunk in reverse. And skunk is about reputation. It kind of fits a lot with what I was saying about fox. Right? If you exchange the scent for energy, it's like skunk is about reputation. It's about how I'm so sorry about the deaths in your family. Give me a second. I want to go deeper because I don't want to just start. I don't want to do just the surface stuff. I want to see what. So, know that no matter how dark things get, there's always light. Okay? That it's like the yin yang, right? You know what the yin yang is with the two fish shapes? One's white and one's black. The white has a black eye and the black one has a white eye. It's like that. It's remembering that no matter how dark things seem, no matter how dark things get, there is always light. Dark is never the complete picture. That there is never a darkness where light does not exist. That in that heart of the darkness is not evil. The darkness is the void. The darkness is actually the womb, the creative womb of the universe, where every possible reality exists. And in many cultures, I say that because I need to do my research and figure out which. I know in some Native American tribes that people who are grieving are said to be sacred because they are the closest to spirit. It's almost like when someone dies, like we talk about shamans being someone that has a foot in each world, living and dead. And it's like when you're grieving, it's kind of like you're straddling that line as painful, only soothing energies. And I send you love and prayers. I will keep you, I will put you in my pipe, and when I pipe ceremony, I will send you blessings and prayers to help to allow the world to unfold before you in a comforting, supportive way, so that through this darkness you can bring more light into yourself and more light into the world. Just know that you are not alone, right? Even like look at the dark is held by the light, right? There might be a lot of darkness, but there is always light. You can't have darkness without light, because the light, well, it's the yin yang, it's the masculine, feminine. So I'm not going to just say, oh, you can do it, oh, you've got this, whatever. I'm not going to do that to you because I know how hard that is. I went through a decade of extreme panic attacks and anxiety, and I know what it's like to walk in that darkness every single day. And it was through that darkness that I was able to find my way back into the light. And I would never wish that on anyone else. I would never want that to happen again. I would never willingly seek that out again, that crazy, chaotic time. And at the same time, I'm also very grateful that that happened. I'm grateful to have come through that experience because it gave depth and breadth to who I am. Even recently, I had a dear friend that died, and we knew she was going, like, she had like a month. They gave her a month when she was diagnosed. And so we knew it was coming. And and I got to talk to her, and she was a high priestess. She was Wiccan. And I actually thanked her because from my perspective, I felt like I was kind of losing my way. And when I found out that she was dying, that helped to kind of click me back out of that gray into the place where there's black and white. Focus. It's focus, right? Discernment, not just gray and cloudy and confusing. And so, because as a shaman, like I said, a shaman walks with a foot in both worlds. And so her dying actually helped me to access that. I was feeling kind of off center because I was so focused on this world, the living world, and I forgot about spirit world. So know that they are still with you. Know that you are watched over and held. And I know this just sounds like words, but you are loved, and you are valued, and you are worthy. And if you'll accept it, this is not beyond you. You have everything within you to see yourself through this, to come out the other side. I promise. I promise that you have everything you need. Because the universe, believe it or not, the universe is on your side. It's got your back. And it doesn't just dish out chaos and problems and without giving the resources to resolve things and solve problems and to come through challenges. Mother Teresa one time said that, God will never give me anything I can't handle. I just wish he didn't trust me so much. And so stopping short of saying, God's not going to give you anything you can't handle, as if it's like this random, God decided I needed to experience this. If this is in front of you, this is your path, and you can handle it. It wouldn't be in front of you if you didn't have the resources to see it through. It can't, because the universe is based on frequency. And you can't have two different frequencies. If something is in your face, it means that you have the frequency to meet it and excel, right? Because like Einstein said that you can't solve a problem with the same energy that created that problem. So when a problem shows up, you have to come at it from a different angle. You have to bring new energy to it. And this is, in a way, this is the universe showing how much faith it has in you, because it would not be giving you this if it didn't know who you truly are, what strengths you had, and who you can be. And meanwhile, while I'm saying all of that, kind of, attaboy, you can do it, this is good, you can do this, whatever. I know how tough that is. I know how devastating that is, and how deep that despair and fear can be. So I am there with you. I promise. I will keep you on my altar. I will put you in my pipe when I do pipe ceremonies. I will pray for you. Okay? Know that you're not alone. And if you want to talk, remember, I haven't seen any emails from you yet, but if you want to email me, we can talk, okay? perchingwolf@hotmail.com. And we can talk. I would be happy to help you whatever way I can, okay? Whew. And I wish you well. Let's put it that way. I was gonna say, I hope you feel better, but I know, I see you, I love you, and I know that you can do this. Not in a way of pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, but I know that it's within you to do this. Don't sell yourself short, okay? All right, so I hope that is helpful. Boom. If I can just call you Boom, I don't know how to pronounce that full thing, but let me finish with Anna, because I started her already, and then it's your turn next. Okay, if you can hold on a little bit. Okay, I need to find. Oh, I need to get that down. It's not me who has to do this, but the spirit of my soul. All I need is to surrender to the wisdom of the whole. All right, so back to card number 2 for Anna. Thank you, Anna, for your patience. And I hope that helped nobody. Who I think is probably gone by now, because he said that they only had 4 minutes. So Anna, card number 2 technically is Armadillo in reverse. And Armadillo is about boundaries, right? Like Armadillo has that armor on his back, but we have this weird thing in our society, in our world, where everything is binary, right? Duality. Things are either on or they're off. Zeros and ones, right? And so we think we can either be open or we'll be closed off. And so Armadillo brings up the idea of both. It's a both and, not an either or. And Armadillo brings the distinction between walls and boundaries. Walls break. Walls not only keep the bad things out, it keeps the good things out as well. And it, rather than being a protective thing, it becomes a prison, and it keeps you from expressing outward, right? Boundaries, on the other side, are fluid. Boundaries, like Armadillo's armor, which is just skin, it allows things in and out. It keeps the big stuff out and keeps you protected inside, but it also breathes. The air gets through the pores. It's not solid. And so you can still breathe and still set boundaries, still say no, still say, I'm not going there, right? But without retracting completely into a ball, right? And so there's a balance. There's a balance being asked for. And it's kind of like I was just talking about, like the yin yang, that balance between masculine and feminine, right? And it's like armadillo kind of embodies that in a way too, with that hardness, that masculine, the hardness, the shell that allows the softer inner self to thrive. So it's like they're um, interdependent. The softer inner stuff feeds and nurtures the armor, right? And the armor protects the softer part. So it's like a symbiotic relationship for the benefit, mutual benefit. And so it's about knowing when to put those boundaries up and realizing that, like walls, you set a wall and it doesn't move. It stays in the same place. Boundaries allow you the flexibility of day-to-day life, because sometimes that boundary is, arm's length. And some days that boundary is like, oh, I want to hug you, and it's like inches away from you. And that's the armor allows you, boundaries allow you to breathe. It allows you, it sets, like talking about like sacred space and such, right? The boundaries, that armor is like the sacred space when we sit and set, which I actually didn't do on camera. I did it beforehand, but I didn't set sacred space before we started the readings. But you call in the spirits to hold that higher frequency vibration around you, so that you can let go of your own armor and protection, so that you can open up to receive spirit, right? Same thing. It's that armor around that holds armadillo, allows armadillo to have that soft underbelly, connect, like just inches away from the earth, to receive that earth energy up. And then there's also the claws, right? Armadillo burrows. And so he's got the armor above, he's got the claws underneath. And so it's okay. Let me give me a second. I got so many things going on. The words are just coming all at once. The claws give armadillo the ability to burrow into the earth, to connect deeper with the earth, and also to, like an armadillo, those claws are strong enough that they can rip apart termite mounds, which are almost like cement, or so I've been told. I've never actually seen an actual termite mound, but I've heard they're like cement, and an armadillo can go right through them. And so it's like that armor on his back protects him to allow him to keep moving forward. He's got the claws to clear his path, whether that's down into the earth or through a termite mound. But because he knows that he is protected, because he has the strong boundaries, that gives him the courage and confidence to go further out of his comfort zone than he might normally do, right? Because if you know that you're protected, and you know that if something should really threaten you, and that you can then curl into a ball and be impenetrable, you can go anywhere because you're safe, right? And the other thing I like to point out, similar to Porcupine, right? It's like that armor is not something he puts on. That armor is a part of who he is. It emanates outward from who he is. It's not something that comes down on him, right? And whenever we talk about protecting ourselves and shielding and that kind of thing, not that that doesn't have a place, but like if you're putting on armor to protect yourself, you're also dimming your own light. And so when you can start to glow and shine from the inside, that light that you are becomes its own protection. You do not need to put on anything to protect yourself. In fact, the greatest protection is an open heart. That's when you're at your highest vibration. And like I said earlier, the frequency, right? If you're at a higher vibration, these small, lower frequencies, they can't even touch you. So it's about being diligent, being present, really, right? Day to day. It's like, okay, how far out is my armor? And being aware, and it changes from moment to moment or person to person, right? Sometimes you can give a hug to someone, and other people you need to leave at arm's length or further. But it's about being aware, right? You build a wall, you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's like the Huns can't get in. And eventually the Huns are going to break down that wall. Walls break. Boundaries are flexible. And that boundary is a part of who you are. And what my guys are saying now too is to remember that you are the only authority who gets to set those boundaries. That no one else can no one else has the authority to tell you how open or closed you should be, right? That it's all in your court how open or closed you will be, who to say no to and who to say yes to, right? And also, like something I tell people a lot, it seems like a lot of people, especially with like the crown chakra, right? We talk like our chakras and we want them to be open, but then we have to protect, we want to close them to be protective of ourselves or whatever. And again, it's usually they're either open or they're closed. But if you think of your energy, you think about your chakras as like an aperture in a camera, rather than being an open or closed door. If you think of it as an aperture and you can just think, okay, I'm going to open my crown chakra 30%. Okay, that feels good. I'm going to try another 10%. We're going to open it up just a little bit more. Oh, that's too much. Bring it back. And to, that you don't have to be wide open to the world and take all the crap. And you don't have to be permanently closed off and try to repel everything either. That it's a spectrum that you get to open up as much as you want to in any given moment, any given circumstance, with any given person or whatever. And again, remember that your heart is your authority, and that if you feel uncomfortable around someone, that's all you need to know to say, oh, sorry, gotta go, or nope, we're not talking about that, or whatever it is. That your heart already knows what's right for you, and your heart takes into, because your heart is what connects you to all humanity. Your heart has already done the calculations as to what's the best, not just for you, but the collective. So if your heart makes you feel, if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, your heart's uncomfortable, like this is not where I want to be right now, then trust that. and say, oh, sorry, I got to go. We'll talk later, or whatever it is. Um, and I could get, it's like, I'm kind of pressed for time, so I can't go further. Like, and there, you know, I want to just at least mention that there is a distinction between, um, you know, like, like I was just saying, the armor allows you to be able to go further into discomfort, out of the comfort zone, because you know you're safe, right? And so there's a difference between following your heart, saying no, I'm not going to go there because that's not the right path for me, or like old programming saying, oh, I don't want to, you know. And actually, you saw me kind of shrink. I think that is the distinction. If your heart says, like, if there's someone coming and you shrink, that's a fear, right? That's a fear response. And so in that case, it might be good to stand your ground. Whatever makes you feel stronger, whatever makes you feel more present. If you're shrinking away from something, then it really, again, it comes down to listening to your heart on whether, okay, I need to retreat and regroup before I address this thing, or okay, this is just fear, this is an old pattern, it's not true, I need to stand up in front of this person, or whatever it is. I hope that makes sense. But you are never obligated to be wide open to every person, everything. What is that one? There's that saying about compassion without boundaries is self-destruction. If you are wide open trying to help everybody, there's nothing of you left. There's nothing to distinguish you as an individual, right? Close my door, traffic's getting louder. So be good to yourself, you know, and also like with the whole idea of boundaries being flexible. Let yourself play. There's no down and dirty yes or no, good or bad. It's about learning. It's about experience. It's about wisdom. And so you may be open too far one day. You may be too closed off to receive something another day. It's about the experience of it and being aware of where you were and what the outcome was. What was the effect of that state of being, either openness or closed, and to just keep moving forward, right? Because you can't fail, you can't get it wrong. It's all about learning. That just popped a scene from Xena in my head where I don't know what they were arguing over, but Xena and Gabrielle were walking, and Gabrielle had done something that was kind of that Xena didn't like or something, and Gabrielle was like, I'm so sorry. And Xena was like, don't be sorry, just do better. It's like those things that we're sorry about, that's not meant to punish us forever, like, oh my God, look at how bad I am. Those moments are meant to say, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do better. I know what it feels like when I do that, when I choose that option. So I'm going to choose a different option whenever that comes up. Okay? All right. Boom, it's your turn. I'm sorry it took so long. I need to write down. I have to keep track of these so that I can do our final reading at the end. All right. Boom, I'm going to just, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to pull a card and I'm going to do a reading for you. And it may or may not answer the specific question. But if it doesn't, then I will be happy to hear what your question is, what it is that you're concerned about. I prefer to do readings blind because otherwise, like if you tell me what it is, then I might pull a card and be like, in my mind will be like, okay, how do I connect that with this? And if I don't know what you're asking, chances are that it will be better validated on both our parts. What is said when it pertains to whatever you're asking. And with that said, as I was shuffling, 2 cards jumped out. So you get 2 cards for the price of 1. And those 2 cards, one was whale in reverse and one was fox in reverse. Okay. And so if you want to go back and watch the beginning of this video when we're done to see what I said about fox, it was the first card we pulled. But fox in reverse, like I said, fox is the one that learns without being seen. It's in that hiding from the world, that cloak of invisibility, right? And when fox comes up in reverse, it usually means it's time to be seen. It's time to step out from the shadows. It's time to put yourself forward. To not get caught in your own illusions of what the world is. And it's kind of like being afraid of your own shadow in a way. It's like we all have dreams, we all have things that we want to do in our lives, and we're really, really good at talking ourselves out of it because we create these scenarios and we create these stories in our heads and these reasons why we can't do it, or it'll hurt too much if we fail, or whatever it is. To remember that all of those stories are just that. They're just stories. They're shadow. There's no substance to them. You came here with a purpose, and the universe will do everything in its power to help you realize that purpose. And so the thing is, like I was just saying, right, with that binary on or off thing, you're invisible. You still have all of the abilities you had when you were younger to hide and to disappear, and all of that kind of stuff. Part of the purpose of that was, yes, to protect you in that moment. And now, because you've experienced that, you still have those skills. You have the wisdom of how to do that. And so just like Armadillo, because you know how to disappear at any moment, that gives you the opportunity to step forward. Because if things get too rough or too scary or whatever, you can always pull that cloak of invisibility back. It's not an either or, it's a both and. It's how to blend those two things. And the thing is, and why I went to that aspect of fox medicine is because whale came up as well. And whale is the record keeper. It's said that whale carries the entire history of the earth in her song. Which is really interesting because I remember years ago I read in a science magazine that scientists were really confused because whale song tends to stay the same from year to year, but every year there's like a little bit tacked on to the end of it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's real, it's true. And so it's like the whales are the record keeper. So when whale comes up, it's about it's about keeping track of, it's like everything that it, like with Fox, it's like Fox is saying it's time to step out of the shadows, it's time to be seen, it's time to be heard. That you have experience, you have wisdom, you have a perspective in the world unlike anybody else's, and the world needs to hear that voice, to see that perspective. You have a gift for the world. And it's about finding your voice, finding your song, and singing it, right? And it doesn't mean you have to get up on a soapbox on the street corner and just, preach or go on about everything you know. It could be as simple as writing your story or using your creative energies to paint or dance or write music, something that expresses your experiences, because there are people that are hungry for what you've experienced, hungry to find someone. What's interesting, so like that feeling alone, that being invisible means that you're isolated, that you kind of feel alone and apart from the rest of the world, right? And so there's all these people in the world that feel that same way. And guess what? As soon as you find your voice and sing that song, whether it comes out in the form of a book or lectures or whatever it is, all those people no longer feel alone. This is a way to reach out to your people, to find your tribe. And so it's not, and it's not about seeking out anything or anybody or trying to fix the world or fix other people or tell them how to live their lives. It's about expressing yourself, telling your story in whatever fashion that comes out, and putting that energy into the world in words that other people have been searching for. You have words or music or something that brings into focus what other people have been experiencing and haven't had the words to speak it. And there is so much power in that. There's so much power in words, in expressing the feelings and expressing experiences, and to finding those commonalities, that connection to others that are in the same, feeling the same thing, isolated in their own little world. I think pretty much everybody's had some kind of experience of, well, for instance, because I can only talk about my own experiences and stuff, but so, where did it go? Since I was a kid, for anything else, I always wanted to be a cartoonist. This is my latest page. I was drawing it just before we started the video. And I'm holding it up upside down. And so I've been drawing comics literally my entire life. I have decades and decades and decades of comics that I've drawn that have gone no place. I've done some self-publishing, and if you look on my website, perchingmostudios.net, I think it's in the merchandise page. I have links to my page on blurb.com, where I've got some of my graphic novels up for sale and stuff. But anyway, for the most part, all I've ever wanted to be was a cartoonist. And I never knew how. And so all these years I've been just drawing my comics and maybe showing them to friends. I've also got a blog. The link is in the description, drawingbreath-comic.blogspot.com. If you'd like to read my comics, I post my latest comics there. And so I've been posting on the blog, I've been drawing them and putting them in my notebooks, etc. And that's it. And it's like there's this cry to go out into the world, and but I've always felt so isolated. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. And all of a sudden, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, I discovered this group online. It's called SAW, Sequential Artists Workshop. And there's this whole community, online community of cartoonists that I had no idea ever existed. And so I've been going, they do Zoom calls and they do workshops to, where we do drawings together. They give a prompt and everyone draws the prompt and then we share. Or like the other day, they had like this 4-hour long Zoom call where we'd get on and we kind of talk about what we were doing and then we'd all just go start drawing. And then we come back after 4 hours or whatever and share what we drew and stuff like that. So all of a sudden I'm not alone. And it feels so good. It feels like I can breathe differently because there are others doing the same thing. I'm not that weird. There's nothing wrong with me for what I've been doing because there's other people doing the same thing and wanting the same things. And so by your putting your voice out there, it's like by expressing yourself, by singing your song, whatever form that takes, if it's journaling or writing or whatever, it's like Whale has the star on this card. That's the dog star Sirius. And according to legend, that's where Whale originated. Whale came from Sirius. And Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. So Whale always knows where home is. Whale always has her bearings. And by writing down, by giving shape, giving physical form, whether it's words or pictures or music or whatever, by giving those nebulous thoughts and experiences, everything that are just kind of floating up there, giving them physical form, that will help you to get your bearings. It will remind you where you came from. It will remind you where you're going. And so you don't have to think about who all is going to benefit. You don't have to think about who might like it or whatever. By expressing yourself for your own reasons, to find your own bearings, your song goes out. And whales can talk to each other on opposite sides of the planet. Water is like the best conductor of sound. So a whale on one side of the planet can sing, and a whale on the polar opposite side of the planet will hear that whale. And so when you express yourself, those expressions, that frequency, that vibration of who you really are, goes out and affects the universe, ripples out in ways that you could never guess. And it reaches further than you could ever imagine. Okay? So, does that answer your question? I hope you're still here. I hope that answers your question. If not, if you're still here, you can pop on and ask what your specific question was. And the thing is, these might be in reverse. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It means that this is the medicine, the energy, the cards are reversed because this is what's in transition right now. These energies are here to help you. Okay? So I hope you're still here. I hope you can comment. Meanwhile, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. This is going to be an interesting reading, the group reading. So we have ox and whale. Okay. So card number 5 for Kim. I've been thinking about you, Kim. Awesome. All right, Kim, card number 5 is Weasel. Oh, and it's a 33. It's an angel number. Weasel Weasel knows things that he's technically not supposed to know. It's about intuition. It's kind of like overhearing things on the bus, or hearing conversations in the coffee shop, or putting two and two together. You heard one person say something over here, and then later on someone else said something over here, and you're able to put the two together and know things that you're technically not supposed to know. So it's about intuition. It's about honoring that part of you that does know, that knows what's going on, that knows how to respond to things, that knows what's happening, where things are heading, what's your next step. Because Weasel is kind of like they're so fast, and they're like almost like they talk about sharks that they never stop moving. Weasel is constantly moving. They have such a high metabolism, and I remember once watching the weasel at the Minnesota Zoo, and it was a relatively small closure, but it's like standing there watching this weasel within just 5 minutes or less, that weasel had covered every single inch of that enclosure. And so Weasel knows exactly where things go, knows exactly where things are, knows exactly how things relate to each other, that spatial wisdom of where things are. Which allows them to run through, to be so fast. They can just zoom, zoom, zoom. And I've heard if you move a stick or a rock or something, that it might trip up, weasel coming through, that might trip them up because it's in the wrong place. But they'll just they'll take it into account. Okay, that's where that rock is now. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And they'll just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And if you think of that as your intuition, your intuition already has the full picture. Your intuition doesn't have to, it's non-linear, right? If we're at a crossroads, we have choices to make. It'd be okay, if I do choice number 1, this will happen, and then this will happen, and this will happen, and then this is where I'm going to end up. But if I take 2, this will happen, and this will happen, and I'll have to do this, and then this is where I'm going to end up. And so it's this linear tracking down one road, then down the other road, and down however other many roads there are, choices, and that is exhausting. it's like analog versus um, internet, right? Like the old days, you had to go to the library, look at the library card, find the book, research the book, go to the sources from that book to see where they got their documentation, blah, blah, blah. And now you can just Google something and it's boom. It's like the internet has everything. Just as a metaphor. Um, it's that same thing. It's like we can either, step by step figure out, look, this is what's going to happen. But it's like that's exhausting. And when we can let go, move out of our heads and into our heart is like the internet that holds all relationships. It's what connects us to all living things. So your heart takes the well-being of every being into account. And so when there's a choice, you literally can say which one feels better. This one feels better, and go that way. You don't have to make a list of pros and cons. You don't have to figure out how this is going to affect this other person. You don't have to figure out if you've got permission to do this or that, or if you have to explain it away or justify it to someone else. It's that simple. It's like which side feels better. In fact, a lot of times if someone comes to me and they've got a choice, I'll actually have them, okay, hold your hands up in front of you. I want your first choice, like your choice to do this thing is your right hand. Your choice to do this other thing is your left hand. Now close your eyes. And inevitably, and like open your eyes now. Which hand is higher? That's your choice. And that sounds crazy to someone who doesn't know about intuition, that lives in a Newtonian world of cause and effect, right? But in the quantum world, you can know which way to go by how it feels, and you can trust that. In fact, there's a really good book I recommend all the time to people. It was a real turning point for me. It's the author is Martha Beck, and the book is Finding Your Own North Star. And that is really all it's about, is learning how to feel joy. Which way feels the lightest? Which way feels, and it's moving toward the better feeling path, kind of like what Abraham Hicks talks about. Go toward the better feeling thought. And so that you navigate from the heart by the feelings rather than the head. Because your head will always come up. Your mind, its job is to separate things, to discern things, to see the differences in things. And your heart is to see the unity of all things. And so if you've got choices, you're looking at these choices with your head, with your mind, there's always going to be pros and cons. And usually, you make that choice, and it's usually not the logic that you fall back on. It's like you make that choice, but this way feels better. Logic says go this way, this, and it's like we do it all the time, but it's like the hamster wheel. And so this is about trusting that intuition, knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to go, and that you can trust your heart. In fact, the fact that she came up upright, it kind of indicates that you're actually really doing that already. If nothing else, it's a validation that you're moving in the right direction, that you are moving from the heart, moving in the right direction toward the highest benefit of all beings. Okay? And that another thing about Weasel is play. Um, I've known people who have had ferrets and stuff, and I remember them saying, number one, you should never have just one ferret. You need to have at least two because they need playmates. And you also have to continue to, what do they call that? You always have to have toys and different things to stimulate their minds. They need that mental stimulation because they're always playing. And so the fact that she came up upright also indicates how you are moving more toward the joy, toward realizing the joy of life, the playfulness of life, to be a little more whimsical and to try out new things, to say, oh, I wonder what would happen if I do this. I wonder what would happen if I go that way, and to try it out just to see. Curiosity, that is one of the greatest ingredients to life is curiosity. In fact, I saw a video not long ago that they were asking scientists about, like, when we do discover or meet new life, alien life, what can we expect? What would be the commonality between us? And this one scientist answered curiosity. He was like, curiosity is the one commonality to all life. And he said, so when we meet our cosmic relations, we can trust that that curiosity will be a part of their makeup. And curiosity is like Star Trek, to boldly go where no one has gone before, right? It's the curiosity that draws us forward to new experiences, to expansion, to these new experiences, these new horizons that give us more self-wisdom, self-knowledge of who we truly are. So, boldly go. All right, I hope that's helpful. Okay, now I need to figure out how I'm going to do, because we've got technically, so a 5-card reading. We had 6 cards actually show up, but 1 card turned up twice. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Okay, so I need to go through the deck and find all the cards that we've already had come up. And while I'm doing so, I'm going to remind you of, I've got a couple of plugs. Like, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Lots of stuff on there. I'm hoping soon to get more stuff up. I've been doing a lot of TikTok. If you haven't seen that yet, look me up on TikTok. My goal was to do like 1 video a day for 40 days. That was the challenge. And I'm not sure how far I am on that, because I'm just having so much fun making these little videos. And I'm hoping at some point to figure out how to, or just to have the time to upload them onto my YouTube channel as well. And I don't know where I am in that 40 days, because I'm just having so much fun with it. But that my YouTube channel has all of these reading videos and ceremony videos and a whole bunch of other videos. Kind of a free resource. If you ever need guidance, you can pull up one of these Monday mini medicine card videos and choose a number, look at that card and get some guidance. Or if you ever need to sit in sacred ceremonial space, you can pull up one of my weekly sacred pipe ceremony videos and just chill and align and sit in sacred space. And that helps me out. It helps other people find me, apparently. So that would be much appreciated. And please, if you enjoy my videos, please share them or invite people to watch on Mondays or Wednesday nights when I do these videos. And if you would like to reciprocate on a different level, if you really enjoy my videos, or if you get something from tonight and you wish to give back, I have my PayPal and Venmo links in the description underneath this video. This is my day job, so anything you give comes right to me to help support me in doing more of this. So, and I love this. This is my job, and I love my job so much. And so everything that comes in is so deeply appreciated, beyond words. And it helps me keep a roof over my little kitty's head and food in her tummy. And if you enjoyed this, if you wanted to set up to have a personal reading with me, one-on-one, or a healing, or a mentorship, you can check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. You can learn more about me. You can see the different shamanic services I offer, and you can set up a session with me right from my website. I just pulled out all these cards and started to shuffle them back into the deck. So like doing a card reading or shamanic healing, like soul retrieval or fairy doctoring, or I do mentorships, like I teach one-on-one if you've had like an awakening experience, or you're at a crossroads in your faith or your path or whatever, and you want a spiritual teacher. I would be so happy, so honored to be a part of that. And it's not to create a carbon copy of myself and tell you what to believe or what to do, but through my experience of many, many years on the spiritual path and as a shaman, to help you find your own heart path, to find out your own relationship with spirit. So if that sounds good, I would be honored. And also, so coming up on this coming Saturday, I'm doing the second. Last month I started doing something. Student council. It's like if you have ever been or are a student of mine or a client of mine, I started doing these monthly student council circles where we just get together, kind of reconnect and do ceremony together. And it's at the Riverview Park in Renton, not far from here, on the Saturday from noon to 3. If you have been a student or a client, you are invited. Come hang out, and this month someone requested that we do a theme of grief. So if that sounds, if that resonates with you, please come. It's a lot of fun. It's free. I do accept donations if you have them, but that is not the necessary prerequisite. So, you know what? I need to turn on a different light. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Need to grab a quick drink of water too. All right, so this is our, I'm gonna turn this down. This is our reading tonight. These are the technically 6 cards that came up. What's interesting, what made me realize what I wanted to do was, so Fox was the first card that came up, and then coming around the circle, the fourth card was 2 cards, and it was Whale and Fox. So we're going to go around the spiral and hit Fox twice, first the beginning and then the end, and then go into the center. So if that's the way can we get a bit closer? There we go. So this is the medicine wheel spread, and it may be different because I think I might have mirror on my video, but east, south, west, and north, and center. And so I always like to start in the east where the sun rises. So over here is where we have Fox. And again, Fox is about observing without being seen. It's kind of that, in a way, it could be that kind of scientific method where we watch what happens without trying to influence it. And so it's like making a distinction between the observed and the observer. That is the words I was trying to say during the first reading. The difference between the observed and the observer. But the lesson there is that there is no such thing as objective, how do I put it? Reality is not objective. There is no objective reality out there to be witnessed by a dispassionate party. We can observe it, but we are still part of it, and it's the power of observation that actually affects what happens to the observed. As in the double slit experiment. If you don't know what that is, I recommend you Google it. It's fascinating, and it is probably if you're talking about glitches in the Matrix, it is probably the biggest glitch. And it's scientific. It was a scientific experiment that they redid not very long ago. But it was to see whether light acts as a wave or a particle. And rather than finding out the answer to that question, they found out that it's that light can act as both particle or a wave. It depends on if anyone's watching it or not. If someone is observing the experiment, then light breaks down into particles and acts as a particle as it's going through these 2 slits. And that's the point of the 2 slits. If light is a particle, it can only go through one or the other slit. And so there's a backdrop, and the pattern on the backdrop determines whether it's a particle or a wave. If it's a wave, that light will go through both slits at the same time and create a different pattern on that backdrop. And so if someone is observing it, light acts as a particle, and you get that pattern on the backdrop. If nobody's watching it, it acts as a wave and has that pattern on the backdrop. So as the observer, you are actually creating what is experienced. It's like the entire universe is a probability. Like when they talk in quantum physics about how every possible outcome actually exists in one universe or another, like that whole multiverse thing. Um, it's like it depends on who's watching. It's like every, okay, how do I put this? Anything that you are not perceiving, like like sitting here watching this video right now, listening to me, seeing the cards, etc. Meanwhile, there's stuff happening out in the world, but it's so hard to say these things. It's so hard to figure out how to say these things, especially if someone doesn't know what I'm talking about. Um, but say you're watching this, right, and your best friend is out someplace else, right? Well, from your perspective, that best friend is a wave probability. Every possible thing that they could experience is being experienced. And it isn't until they return home or whatever and tell you about it that it becomes the particle. It's like everything outside of your perception is just energy. It's just waves. And that's how like law of attraction and that kind of thing works, because depending on how you see your perspective in the world, if you see everything always works out versus everything is bad, it's like your mental, this is in the east, so it's air, so it's the mental realm, and so it's like your mental outlook, seeing the world from that place of knowing that you affect the world just by seeing the world and by keeping, you know, optimistic, like I heard Michelle Obama call Barack stubbornly optimistic. And it's like when you stay stubbornly optimistic, things really do always work out. One way or another, you will always see things work out because your mind is open to all possibilities. And it's about frequency. You don't necessarily create one single outcome. You create a field of possible outcomes that all are in resonance with that frequency of what you expect to see in the world. That's why I always tell people to approach life with an attitude of expectant curiosity. Expect things to work out, but don't hem them in by saying, this is the way it's got to work out. Keep that open-minded, open view that it's going to work out. I can't wait to see how, right? So that's the mental realm. If we jump across to the west is water, so that's the emotional realm. And so this is a community, so we took all the individual readings, put them together, and this is kind of like a reading, a cross-section of our communities, whether family, friends, global, whatever. And so it's like I see this as there's more and more hope in the world. I'm not saying everything is optimal for, you know, the way we want things to be, but there is a sense of hope, of seeing that even as crappy as things might be, that there's always a way for it to work out, right? In the West, the water, the emotional realm, though we have this outlook, this view of the world, we're still a little vulnerable. We still, like Armadillo laying on his back with his soft belly to the sky, he's vulnerable, right? Normally a mountain lion is the only animal that can really eat an armadillo, because and the same with porcupines, because they have a way of scooping under and flipping them, because once they're flipped over, you know, you can picture them like a turtle on their back, and their belly is wide exposed to the sky. So even though we have this outlook, emotionally, it's like we're still kind of unsure of how to get there because it makes us feel vulnerable. It's counter to everything we have ever been taught. And so armadillo, like I said earlier, armadillo is about learning the both and that that you can be protected and vulnerable at the same time. That when you know who you really are as a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience, that allows you that sense of safety so that you can step further out of the comfort zones. So this is about on the emotional realm, this is about finding the courage and the confidence to move, to actually become this. Not just wishful thinking, not just hopeful, but actually doing the groundwork to move to that. Knowing that what is best for everyone is the best for when everyone gets better, when we all get better, we all get better. And so knowing that this is destined, then we can know that we are being called forward toward our visions, toward our beliefs of a better world. And that's what ultimately kind of protects us, because the universe wouldn't give us this vision or desire for peace, for love, for harmony, if it wasn't possible, if it didn't already exist in some place or time. And so when we can trust that, then that vision becomes our protection, because we're moving toward the highest benefit of all beings. And we can allow ourselves to be a little vulnerable without having to build walls and without having to expose our belly to the tyrants of the world. We can still be firm and soft at the same time. Okay? And down here, like down here in the south is fire, and we have skunk down here in reverse. And it's kind of like what I was just talking about. Skunk, if you look at skunk as kind of the yin yang, right? The black and the white. And it's about focus, right? It's this discernment between the black and the white. It's not gray, it's not mixed up, it's not confusing. It's like, there's the stripe. And they complement each other. The black makes the stripe stand out more, et cetera, et cetera. And so in the fire, the place of passion and action, it's like, I always think of it kind of the purpose card, because it's that fire that drives us forward, our dreams, our passions. And so it's like by following our passions, by following this vision, will help us to bring this into focus of what we have to do. Who do we have to become to make this a reality? And so we're in the process down here in the fire, the place of action. What's happening is a system of discernment, a process of focusing and realizing, like skunk in reverse can point to someone who's blaming everybody else, right? Indiscriminately spraying its spray at anything that moves, right? Out of fear, being threatened by every little thing, and so spraying at every little thing that comes along. All that does is deplete skunk, make skunk vulnerable, who then has to hide until the glands build up enough of the fluid that it can start spraying again. So we're in this process of, rather than blaming and finding out who's at fault, actually taking the reins to step up and say, this is what we can do. Rather than just getting in this circle of blame and it's this person's fault and it's that person's fault. It's like, what can we do to move forward, to bring things into better focus, rather than just talking about these vague, nebulous concepts and such, right? Then if we jump up to the north is Earth, so that's the logistical world. And up here we have whale in reverse. And as I said earlier, whale is the record keeper. And what I draw from that, as we're finding this focus, it's like we're keeping track. It's like our story is still in the process of being written as a society, as a world. Our story is still in the process of being told. And so we haven't reached the resolution yet, but knowing that, you know, holding to this vision, this is like that North Star, that's like Sirius, that keeps our bearings. We have our bearings, our vision of the future, of a world that we want to create, you know, be the change you want to see in the world. That's that star that keeps us moving. That's our destiny, that's our destination. So no matter where we go, we're heading toward that star. So everything that unfolds, no matter how horrific it may look, it's one step closer to this vision. It's one more story. When we finally reach the manifestation of that tale, we'll have this story that is unfolding right now as a support, as a root system, as a foundation to not do what's happening now ever again. That's how mythologies are created. And then, so come back around, and Fox was the first card I did, but it was also like with the whale in the fourth reading, and it came up reversed. So if we come back around from whale to Fox in the east, the air, the mental realm, it's kind of like the next step. It's like we started with the vision, we started with optimism, we started with realizing that we can create whatever world we want, right? And we come around the spiral and realize it's kind of like the hero's journey, right? And as we come home, we're realizing, like Fox, the king of illusions and the like that cloak of invisibility, watching without being seen, that it's time to step out of the shadows and to be seen, to let all voices be heard, to bring everything into the light, to draw that distinction between illusion and truth, fallacy and truth. And by doing all this, by this unfolding story that we are going through, as painful as it is, this is what fuels Weasel here in the center. It's like this is the process, like I mentioned, like watching Weasel cover every square inch of its enclosure in a short amount of time. It's like, this is Weasel. Everything that's happening right now is Weasel gaining experience. Weasel experimenting and playing, right? I said play. And like Mr. Rogers said, play is how we learn. Play is not optional. Play is not something outside of life. Play is how we engage in life. And so to Weasel, so if you think of this as the spirit card, the center card, the hub of the wheel, this is us as spirit, and everything that's unfolding is kind of a fact-finding mission to see how things work and how things don't work, and helping to discern and focus on what our vision is and what we want to create. So that as things come closer and closer, again, it's about frequency. It's not about an analog Newtonian moving things around, this thing causes this thing. It's about frequency. And the more of us that engage in this vision, that feeds into this story of this big picture of what's going on, the higher the frequency. And the higher the frequency, like if we go back to what I was saying about the double slit thing, and like you're sitting here in one place and your friend's out there someplace, as you grow and raise your frequency, chances are that friend, when they come back, are going to have a better, higher frequency story, that by you staying in your power, in your higher frequency, growing to the best of your ability, everything around you, the entire world is lifted. And so by a handful of us doing the work, setting the vision, moving toward that vision, we raise the frequency, and we it's not that we change people or force people, but we rise into a world, that multi-world, multiverse scenario where we move up a number of vibrations, a number of frequencies, to a world where these other people have done their own work as well, that resonates with where we are becoming. So that the focus really does come centered on yourself, your own growth, trusting your own intuition. And by doing that, it's like the tide raises all ships. Or if you think about like a spider web, if it were like horizontal, if you take one part of that web and you lift it, it's not just that one little thread that comes up. The entire web lifts. Maybe not as high as that point, but just lifting that point lifts everything. So by doing our work and holding to that vision and moving toward that home, that destiny, we raise everybody. And we create, we start to resonate with a higher frequency reality where everyone who is in that other world actually has, we move into a world that has the higher frequency version of those people, if that makes sense. And that's a real simplified way of saying it, of looking at it, because not everybody, like raising the frequency, not everybody is going to rise in the way we expect them to. Like I say sometimes, it's like there's more people waking up on the planet right now than ever before, but a lot of people are not morning people, and they want to go back to sleep. And so the sun rises and other people are pulling the blankets over their heads, trying to ignore the light, trying to go back into the darkness, go back to sleep, and ignore what's actually happening. So anyway, but that is how I see this reading. That's how I see the world. That's a good way of, like, hey Gage, yay, you're still kicking. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. Oofda. Wow, I'm gonna have to that took a lot, that like, I need to ground. I went somewhere. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that something tonight spoke to you, helped you, lifted you, did something to benefit you. And again, if it did, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, share my video, invite people to join us on a Monday night. And if you want to if you got something out of tonight and you want to reciprocate or just support your friendly neighborhood shaman, my PayPal and Venmo links are in the description. Anything you give is greatly, greatly appreciated. Helps me to keep doing these videos and this work, keeps roof over little Kira's head and food in her tummy. And if you would like to have a personal reading or healing, or mentoring with me, you can check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, where you can learn more about me. You can see the different shamanic offerings I have, and you can set up a session with me right from the website. And if you are a present or former student or client, this coming Saturday we're having our second monthly student council circle, and you're invited, and we just kind of get together for a few hours in the park and drum and do ceremony and talk. And this month's subject, someone requested last time that the subject be grief, so we're going to talk about grief. I'm working up a little ceremony around grief that we can do on Saturday. So if you're local, if you're in the area, that is this coming Saturday from noon to 3 at Riverview Park in Renton. So I hope to see you there. And I guess that is it for tonight. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching, supporting me by just watching this video and spending this time with me. I appreciate that. And I hope to see you next week. Until I do see you, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye now.